Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is the 1st of March. Do you know what that means? If you don't, I will tell you. It means that it's the first day of Tis the Damn Readathon. Also, don't mind the fact that I'm super red and I look literally like a dishevelled wet rat. As I said, today is the first day of the Tis the Damn Readathon. I have borrowed the ebook for the first book that is on my TBR, which is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. This is a non-fiction. I haven't read a non-fiction in a while, so I thought it was a good one to start with, regardless of whether it's the first one on my TBR or not. I am also currently reading Wicked As You Wish by Rin Chapeko because I didn't finish that. I think I've got like half of it left. And also Untamed is just under 300 pages, which is perfect. I wanted to just talk a little bit about Wicked As You Wish because I have mentioned it in a couple of vlogs, but I haven't really been focusing on it during those vlogs, so it's not really played a big part. I haven't really spoken too much about it. Wicked As You Wish is a YA fantasy, absolutely like chock-a-block full of representation in all different kinds of ways. We have a gay main character, we have a non-binary main character who uses they them pronouns, we've got representation of all different types of races and ethnicities, we've got a half Scottish, half Filipina main character who has this massive family, and it's an absolute pleasure to read about, honestly. So I've been really enjoying that, and the plot is basically that, as I said, we've got this massive family. They're all magical, they all possess these magical abilities, and I can't go too much into depth in terms of like how the whole magic system works because it is very influenced by lots of different things, like both by the fairy tales that the majority of us grew up with, and also by, like, I guess Filipino, like, I don't know whether it would be insensitive to say culture, but maybe like more like Filipino mythology or something like that. There's a lot to do with their view of magic, if that makes any sense, but that's kind of the vibes that I'm getting. It starts off in this like fantasy version of the United States. Basically, there was this place called Avalon that kind of got almost completely destroyed by someone called the Snow Queen, and then a lot of people just fled. A lot of people ended up in America where they were not welcome, but they kind of hid themselves. They state that the reason that they are not a fan of these people coming into the country is because of the fact that they are magic and they have the ability to, you know, do things and stuff like that. And then basically there's this king, or like this prince, that should ascend to king at some point because his parents were killed, and he was the Prince of Avalon. And eventually something happens, the Snow Queen comes after him, and they basically run and they're on this like adventure to try and do something. I can't even remember what their end goal was, but like it's been fun to read nonetheless, and it seems like they're going to be going to loads of different places. So far they have gone to Avalon, and we've kind of seen how desolate it's become after the whole situation there. There's lots and lots of ties to characters that we know from fairy tales and stories and stuff like that, so it's really fun. I am gonna start my day by drinking my coffee, reading, and hopefully making myself feel a little bit better. Of course I'll be playing Taylor Swift throughout this day and like the rest of the month. I'm back. I have moved and I have been reading. I just literally did not move the camera since the last time I was filming, so I thought I would just sit in the same areas before. Okay guys, this is going well so far. I decided to start reading my first book of the readathon, Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I was not sure what to expect going into this. All I read was part memoir, part like inspiration or whatever, so I was like, yep, cool, we're gonna go with that. First of all, I really like the way that this is written, you know, anecdotes and stories and stuff like that, but just the fact that it is like short little bites. First of all, super easy to read. Like, I love books like this. I love this kind of format because the more kind of chapters or the more stories that I get through, the more accomplished I feel, and it takes less time than it would if it was like a longer chapter, if you know what I mean. And there's so many different stories that are all kind of, in my eyes, validating the point that this author is trying to make. It's going really well. I'm really enjoying it. I was watching a video by Jubilee, which was basically about it, like the main topic was kind of like this idea of masculinity. It was like trans men and conservative cis men basically having conversations about what masculinity means, and like, is masculinity disappearing, is it threatened, and blah 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 blah. And a lot of the time when like conservative men are talking about masculinity, for some reason they can't talk about masculinity by itself. They have to have it, like they have to have something to compare it to and be like, this is not what it is. They can't actually say this is what masculinity is in a solid way. It kind of has to be in comparison to femininity, which they seem to think is the opposite. And one thing that I've noticed is there's a lot of men can't be sensitive, men can't cry, men can't do this, can't do that. Men are supposed to be strong, as if being sensitive is the opposite to being strong. And there was this one part in this book that I've just read which really resonated with me, that talks kind of about sensitivity, and basically it's about this woman's daughter Tish, who like in kindergarten, basically her teacher was talking about how the polar ice caps are melting and how that's putting polar bears' lives in danger, right? And she was the only child listening to this who actually kind of stopped and thought about it and realised what consequences that had. And she couldn't get over it. And she was kind of just told to deal with it. Now, I'm just going to read this whole like page, I think, because I just think it's really well written. She let herself feel the horror and know the wrongness and imagine the inevitable outcome. Tish is sensitive, and that is her superpower. The opposite of sensitive is not brave. It's not brave to refuse to pay attention, to refuse to notice, to refuse to feel and know and imagine. The opposite of sensitive is insensitive, and that's no badge of honour. And then there's like a little bit in the middle. And then the last bit is, but our society is so hell-bent on expansion, power and efficiency at all costs that folk like folk like Tish, like me, are inconvenient. It's easier to call us broken and dismiss us than to consider that we are responding appropriately to a broken world. The moral of the story is be sensitive, pay attention to what's going on, feel things. It is Wednesday today. I do have some lessons that I need to go to that are like on the other side of town, and I hate when we have to do that. Like, it just takes so long to get there and I get so tired, but like I can't avoid it because I have to do it, because otherwise I fail. Anyway, good morning. I think I've got just under 100 pages left of Wicked As You Wish. It's going so well. I'm loving it so much. It just, if you're the kind of person that really likes it when authors take lots of like fairy tale characters, it's just like a whole mixture of fairy tales and mythology from loads of different places. It's kind of like you know, a little pick and mix, kind of like a tasting session of all the different mythologies. It's just amazing. Like, it's just the amount of different things that have gone into it is amazing. It can be a bit confusing at times just because there is so much going on, but like I'm willing to look past that because of the fact that it is so diverse. In terms of the actual like plot and stuff like that, there's not really crazy amounts happening. They are kind of just on this really long trek to get to this place. But like, I'm happy to just be on the journey. I really like the vibes of the characters. I like the way they are together. And they kind of just feel like very much like a real group of teenagers. They've got like banter going on, they're witty. Some of them are like super sharp and really funny. In terms of the other book that I'm reading, I think I should be done with that relatively soon as well. I can't remember how many pages I've got left of that, but like, yeah. It is starting to feel a little bit tedious. It feels like although the author is telling different stories, sometimes it feels like the point that is being made is the same one. And then it's like, do I really need to hear another story in which you end on exactly the same point? Because at this point I kind of do understand what she's trying to get across. And I feel like it's the kind of thing that you can get across within fewer pages than the amount that's in the book. Like, it's 300 pages. I think it could for sure be like 150 or 200 pages. Like, I would have been fine with that. I also, when it comes to these kind of books, I also have to try and remember and acknowledge the fact that the author that's writing it has a certain amount of privilege, I guess, in the situation that she's in. And that's not to say that she wouldn't have problems, because obviously everyone has their own issues. Everyone like experiences things that are not fun to deal with. That being said, it's a lot easier for certain people to sit there and say that you can do this and you can do that. A lot of the things that she's saying is like follow your heart and stuff like that, which may work out for her, but that's not the case for everyone. Like, some people truly don't really have a choice unless they want to risk their lives or risk their like well-being and like comfortability, if that makes any sense. So as much as like it feels like an empowering book, It's maybe not empowering for everyone. We'll see what happens. I don't know if I'm going to update any more today because, as I said, I've got lessons and got other shit that I want to get done. I think I've got like under 50 pages left of Wicked As You Wish, which is amazing. It means I'm going to be done with that very soon. Also, I got a notification saying that the Unhoneymooners, this little gem, is available to borrow now on Libby. And I'm very surprised because there was like 6 people in front of me and then all of a sudden it was available, so I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, I'm gonna go. That was literally what I was gonna say. So good morning. I finished Wicked As You Wish. I was then able to borrow the Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and I've started that today. In terms of Wicked As You Wish, I'm not going to talk about it too much just because I don't know, I don't feel like I have much to elaborate on it aside from what I said before, that I really liked the characters and the vibes that they had as a group. The second book is coming out on the 3rd of May this year, which is very exciting, and the cover is very pretty. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm just excited to see where this goes. As I said, liked the characters, liked the vibes. I will say that like sometimes it felt a bit tedious. We didn't get to see as many different areas as I would have hoped, but I guess that just leaves it open to explore more in the upcoming books. If you like Once Upon a Time, that was kind of the thing that I was thinking about while I was reading it. It reminds me a lot of Once Upon a Time in the way that the story, the like characters all interact. And if you're just looking for like a YA fantasy that's not too heavy on romance but has a little bit of it, has a bit of like an interesting magic system, because that's one thing that I haven't really talked about, is that the magic system really varies depending on like what area of this universe you're in. I have started, as I said, did I say I started the Unhoneymooners? I think I did. For some reason that's a title that I find really difficult to say. Like, I feel like it sounds really weird coming out of my mouth. Unhoneymooners. I was aware of the fact that this was about 2 people that don't like each other who kind of get forced to go on this honeymoon together. What I didn't realise is, I mean, for good reason, but like when you read the book you come to realise that there's small details that kind of really set up the stories. The pro so far for this is the fact that like our main character, she gets described as being curvy. Now, I never know when people say curvy if they mean that like literally just like curves, or if it means like plus size type thing. Do you know what I mean? Because like it's 2 very different things. So basically the Unhoneymooners is just under 300 pages. I can't remember how many pages. I'm like halfway through Untamed. So like this week I'm pretty certain I can finish Untamed, I can finish the Unhoneymooners, and I really want to start on the next Percy Jackson book because I am so obsessed with that series and I really want to continue it. And I think that's kind of like what I'm gonna say for now, because I don't want to jinx myself, but like there's also other books that I really want to get to, so we'll see what happens. I have finished The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I really enjoyed this. I really liked the concept. I think that's kind of the strongest thing, and I know that it's not like necessarily the most unique concept in the world. It's not like super innovative or like creative or anything like that, but there's something like a rom-com in like a holiday setting, especially when it's like kind of very, very tropical like Hawaii. I absolutely love that. I will eat that up. If you have read any Christina Lauren and you kind of have a favourite out of the books that you've read by them, then please let me know, because I would like to try and like read some of their books that like are known to be some of the best ones. I have noticed, and I don't know if this is a common occurrence, but it definitely was in the Honeymooners, that it was like there was nothing in terms of the like, you know, the stuff that a lot of people read romance for, you know? And like as much as I do like a very, like, I mean, I enjoyed it. It was a great little rom-com. But like when they literally set up the scene and then it's just like not even a fade to black, it's like a full-on just cut it. Like they literally took a butcher's knife and just chopped it. Like that's when the scene ends. And I don't know, I thought it was just wasted potential. Like they could have definitely, you know, there was a lot of tension between these characters, and just from the beginning I knew that something was going to happen between them. And the way that it kind of developed, although it seemed, at times it seemed like very quick and like very night and day, like very like 180 quick turn, I still enjoyed seeing it. It was very predictable, is what I will say. It is a very predictable book. And I never try and attempt to predict what's going to happen in books. So if I manage to know what's going to happen, then that just proves how predictable a book is. Like, honestly, I didn't mind that because I don't read romances to be surprised or to have big plot twists or anything like that. It was fun. I am very much glad I read it because I read it really quickly, I think. It feels like I read it very quickly, because I only think I like picked it up a few times, which usually it takes me more times of actually like picking it up and sitting down and stuff like that to get through a book. So this is very good. I'm still reading Untamed. Seems to be going well. I think I've got just under 100 pages, so I'm hoping that if my brain behaves the way I would like it to behave, that I might be able to finish that tonight. My friend Chelsea commented on one of my vlogs talking about how it made her, like, she really liked my vlogs. She even messaged me personally, which I know that's what friends do, but like, she commented and she messaged me on Instagram to say how she was enjoying my vlogs and how it inspired her to pick up her vlog camera, and that just made my absolute day. I haven't had the best couple of days, honestly. My I don't even know how to explain it. I've just basically hated life. And so to like get a comment like that saying that something that you're doing is making me want to do the same thing is very lovely. Obviously I made sure to tell her that, but I just wanted to share it with you guys because booktube and bookstagram friendships are some of the best friendships that I've ever experienced in my life. You guys know who you are. I love you all. I'm gonna go because I feel like I'm just talking shit right now. I finished Untamed yesterday. I didn't give it a rating just because, I mean, it really varies. Sometimes I do give non-fiction a rating. Unless I absolutely loved a non-fiction book, I would rather not give it a rating. This one I just didn't, like, I didn't absolutely love it. I thought it was good, and I'm not gonna lie, starting it was a lot better than finishing it. I started Sawkill Girls yesterday. I don't even know what I thought this book was going in. Like, I literally, all I know is it's like horror, kind of. It's YA, and I thought there was some kind of sapphic element to it. I'm still not quite sure if there is. It's giving me sapphic vibes, but at the same time, I swear when I looked it up, it came up as like being sapphic, but like also, I don't know, I could be completely wrong. I feel like it's one of those books that you just hear about a lot and don't actually know the synopsis of. And it's been interesting kind of finding out what it's about, but I will give you a little like hint as to what it is about. It's basically about these two girls who moved to this town called Sawkill, or Sawkill Rock, or something like that. They moved to this town where apparently lots of girls go missing, and there's also like this legend of someone called the Collector. It's kind of like, you know, like the Jersey Devil is the only comparison I can think of off the top of my head. But you know, that kind of like mythological urban legend, that's what the word is. It's kind of like an urban legend. I don't know what the Collector is, what they do, but it is this urban legend that's around, so it gives that kind of creepiness to it. It's interesting. It's got some very interesting vibes, and there's definitely like, it's felt slightly bunnyish in the fact that like there's these weird things that happen and you just don't know if that's actually what's happening or if someone's imagining it. I am in general just feeling very overwhelmed as per usual. But I'm also quite happy that I have read 3 books so far this week. I think, yeah, so far this week, because like so far this month, or at least I've finished 3 books, which is good for me. What was I going to say? I am going to end the vlog here. Before I do that, we will do a final little very quick update on my reading. So basically, I did tell you that I started Sawkill Girls. I finished it today. I gave it 3 stars because, I don't know, it was alright. It was fun to read, it was quick to read. It's a nice little YA book. It's got a little bit of supernatural stuff going on, and you know, that was enjoyable. If that's your kind of thing, I think just in general, YA just tends to rate lower with me. And then I also read a little graphic novel, and it's called Lumberjanes. and I can't remember who it's by, but like you'll be able to see it when I pop up the picture here. It was also quite cute. I gave it 4 stars, and that is pretty high when it comes to graphic novels for me, and it was purely just based off of the vibes, and it's like, it's basically set at this like summer camp type thing for like girls who basically just want to be kick-ass girls, you know, like that just really want to be these like super strong, like savvy people. And I don't know, I really liked that. I really like the kind of summer camp vibes, but I think it's really nice to read something like that to like, I don't know, feel like I'm part of this gang, and all the characters have their own like look and style and like vibes to them. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then make sure to subscribe and click the bell button to get notifications every time I post a video. I will see you in my next video.